Thanks for joining me here tonight. Happy Monday. Thanks for coming to Craft Night with Friends. I am on location, as you can see, at my parents' house in my mom's sewing room. We are going to be working tonight on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. I've picked a project from here, a block that we can work on for a while, and I don't have to move around a lot. So we're going to actually do the embroidered block. Let's check it out. It is Gran's Legacy, so right there. So we'll be doing a whole pile of embroidery this week. I'll be here all week. So if you are on YouTube and you're also on Facebook, let the Facebook people know that we are only on YouTube this week. Thanks for doing that, everyone. All right, if you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners, and I'm live here Monday through Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So thanks again for joining me. And some of you might notice behind me, I have my mom's granny square quilt. So she has her granny square quilt completely done. I think she got it back from the quilter a little while ago, and she washed it all up, so I wanted to share that with you guys. I'll show it at the end too, because I know some of y'all will pop in later. But all right, let me show you. I got a little bit on here, but look how pretty. Oh, I just think it turned out so cool. Hey, Sally. So she has a meandered style quilt, so that just means the quilter just went they just meandered around. So they have just curves that go in all different directions, but it turned out so lovely and beautiful. And then the back, she has all of her scraps on there. But I just had to show it. It is so pretty. So that'll hang out with us for the week as well. Oh, isn't it, Sylvia? I think it just turned out so gorgeous and pretty. It's just making me want to get mine done like yesterday. So, all right, you guys, let's work on the Splendid Sampler tonight. Thanks again for joining. All right. Oh, look at the sky, you guys. Look how pink it is. Oh, it's so pretty. Ugh, they got some good sunsets here, that's for sure. All right. Let's take a look at this. Here, I'm going to scoot you up a little bit more. And thanks for coming with me on location again. Skyfire, exactly, Sylvia. Ooh, that is a great way to describe it. It is so pink and beautiful. Oh, Marie says hello from Wisconsin. I'm here in Wisconsin now too. Wisconsin for the week. All right, you guys, let's see. So we're going to do this embroidery block. And it is Gran's Legacy here. Very cute. The cup of a mother's love is always full. I thought it was nice and fitting for being home here this week. All right, so I'm going to start out by pressing. So I always use white fabric for this particular quilt when there's a clear background color that's light. So I'm going to use white for the background here. And I'm just going to try and trace this design right through. I didn't make a photocopy. Typically, I would make a photocopy of this first and then put it on a light table, but I didn't photocopy it, and this has actually text on the back, so that would show through if I use a light table. So I think just on this white fabric, oh yeah, we're not going to have any problem whatsoever. Ugh, great. So all right, let's get started. It'll be fun to do some embroidery this week. So I have this white piece from my bin already. I'll probably cut it down. The instructions say to use a 6-inch square, but I kind of think we might want to cut that down later. So I might just kind of hand cut maybe like a 7-inch square right now, just so I have a little bit, just so I'm not having so much on the outside here. All right, I'm going to move my mom's pressing mat. Okay. So let's trace it first, and then we'll decide how much we need, I think. Okay, let's grab the pattern. This one's just so sweet, isn't it? There we are. So this one, if you wanted to do this one, it's on page 93 of the Splendid Sampler 2 book. It looks like just an embroidery with a little bit of a cute little border onto it. So I don't know if we'll get to that. We'll see. Oh, you got your package today? Yay! Okay, good. So your guys' packages are starting to come in. I hope you like the new embroidery kits, the new designs for that. We had a really fun time making those up. That's great. So I'm glad you like it. Okay, so I'm going to just trace this. I have a water-soluble marker here. I'm going to actually get you guys a little bit lower too. There we are. All right. So let's just chill out and trace for this evening. So I'm using the water-soluble marker. This is that fine line Mark Be Gone one. I think we have a few of those in the shop still. And yeah, I think it's just perfect for this sort of thing. I haven't taken any of the water-soluble ink out of these blocks yet. I might just wait till I wash it the first time. I haven't quite decided on that yet. I guess we're starting with these little wispies. There's no reason that I started here. I read a little bit ahead. We're going to be using 2 strands of floss for this stitching. Gosh, I haven't picked colors or anything here. I brought my scrap thread bin. You guys will recognize that, my little floss bin here. So we'll use all just scrap floss for this. Slow motion recycling. Look at all this cute swirly type. So this is quite a bit of embroidery. It's actually smaller. These always end up smaller than I think. I mean, I keep forgetting that these are only ending up as like 2-inch little not 2-inch, 6-inch little squares here. So this is quite a bit in it. So you can see sometimes this bleeds a little bit more. That's because I held it in one spot too quick, or too long. So it's best if you look at what's coming ahead and try and wisp it out in one just nice smooth movement. So I always kind of imagine myself drawing it beforehand so I can do it quickly. And you could tape this down too if you're nervous about it moving in the middle of it, but I thought we'd do okay. A lot of times I'll just trace these things with a sharp pencil too. I mean, the pencil's, I suppose, a little bit more permanent, but I feel like the pencil just kind of rubs away after a while too. But yeah, this is a lot of little type for embroidery, so this will be interesting. It's all going to be backstitch pretty much. Except for, you know, like the dots are going to be French knots. The dashed lines will be running stitch. It's too small. Oh, you had to use a pencil because this is just too big. Marie. Yeah, that's why I like a pencil, is that like I like the mechanical pencils actually, so those get nice and sharp, and yeah, your line can be a little bit thinner, and it does kind of rub away after a while. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually probably keep the pattern nearby while I'm stitching this, because if something bled a little bit too much, I'll probably have to refer like, how is that line supposed to go, and kind of peek back at the pattern. A lot of little swirly curly cues. So the nice thing about using the 2 strands though is that we can do the loop method of starting, which is going to be really nice for all this text. Hey Betty, thanks everyone for joining me here. Again, I'll be just here on YouTube for the week, and I'm actually not going to be here on Thursday, so it's just going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday this week. So a little bit different. And then next week we will be stitching the hummingbird embroidery. So this month's embroidery of the month. That'll be fun. Okay, let's get this nice arc going. Kind of going like top to bottom, I guess. Just so my hand's not covering up anything. All right, wow, there's a lot of detail in here. It's actually kind of relaxing to trace. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna trace all of the dashed lines. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna put every little dash in. I think I might just do this outline and then, well, nah. I'm gonna wanna do the dash. I'm gonna wanna draw those dash lines. Maybe I'll just draw another little line. Instead of going in and drawing each and every dash, I think I might just draw another just solid line. Since this is water-soluble marker, it'll come out after. And then I'll just do like a dashed line on that line. Okay, I'm not completely decided on that yet. I'm gonna do those dash lines last, and then I'll decide then. Let me know if you guys did anything like that when you stitched this. If you fully traced those dashed lines or just kind of made them up. Okay. I think we'll get this little area. Oh, Colleen, that sounds so beautiful. I've got a bit of math to do for the necessary. So Colleen's thinking about doing the alphabet embroideries large. That would be fun. I do like enlarging those. The fun thing, yeah, that's what's nice about the embroidery patterns is you can just enlarge them or shrink them to whatever you want. Okay. Guess I'll get in here and start this. Yeah, I'm gonna finish all the outside stuff first. We'll do the outside lines and then I'll go back in and do the detail. Wow, yeah, there's a lot of detail in this though. It's cute. I like it. So I suspect because of all the detail, this will take us the week to do, I'm thinking. Maybe it'll go fast, we'll see. And I'm just guessing that I left enough space around here. I'm sure we did. Because I didn't really cut this square to begin with. I think I'll just roughly cut around it and then later we'll try to recenter it really nicely when we're done. I don't mind having a little extra. I think the hoop holds it a little bit more. Ooh, Sylvia says I'm up to making 4 square blocks with mitered corners. That's exciting. I want to try that sometime. Still deciding whether to draw in every single one of these lines for the dashed lines or just kind of wing it. All right, I'm gonna get going on this inside stuff. Some swirls. Oh yeah, and we'll be doing some single chain stitches or lazy daisy stitches for these little bloops. Oh, these are fun little circles. I think my mom finished this quilt years ago, probably at this point, like literally. She finished it really quickly. She did the quilt as you go process too. Eventually, I'd like to start assembling the rows together for the quilt as you go. We have, I think, 2 complete rows, and we're working on the 3rd row now, I think. So those first 2 rows we could put together and have like 2/5 of a quilt done. That'd be pretty cool. We're getting there. Look, it's so pretty. This isn't taking that long. This isn't taking as long as I thought it would. Boop, boop, boop. So let me know what all of you guys are working on tonight too. I'd love to hear. Okay. This is like 2 little itty bitty lines. I'm gonna try and go as light as I can, which means I'm gonna go as quick as I can too. And then there's an itty bitty line down here. These are all kind of fun. All right, all I have left now are those dashed lines. Oh, Terry says I'm working on relaxing tonight. That sounds just lovely. That sounds so lovely. Ooh, I'm gonna try and do some of that this week for sure. You know what? I think I'm gonna draw each one and every of these dashed lines in. That's not what I was gonna do. Maybe I'll just kind of roughly kind of go where they sort of might be. Oh, I'm just gonna do it. It'll be fun to look at. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Ooh, Lynn's working on the birds and the air block for the Underground Railroad quilt. That is looking so pretty. I'm happy that you're sharing it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. That is just so neat, those blocks. All right, a few more down here. Boop, boop. And again, I can always kind of refer back to this later. I'll just actually keep this this art right by me. Oh, Kathy, you can't sign into the new site. Send us an email at info@penguinandfish and we'll take a look at that. Take a look at that for you and get back to you tomorrow. Yeah, like in the email, let me know what it's doing. Like, is it just kicking you out or let me know. We are still working through the new website. Thank you guys, everyone who took a look at it and bought some of our new kits and browsed around. And thanks everyone who downloaded our new free raccoon sampler. We'll have to stitch that sometime coming up too. Yeah, if any of you have comments or you're having trouble on the site right now, we just launched it last week, so we're working through any bugs. It's a new system for us. So yeah, if you are having trouble with any parts of it, please let us know at info@penguinandfish.com. We are working on all of that stuff. All right. Well, that wasn't that hard. Did I get these lines in? Oh yeah, just a little less there. Cool. Hey, we're done with that and it looks pretty as is. This would actually be really pretty stitched in this color, like all one color. I don't even remember. We gotta check the book. How are we? I don't even think I thought about how we're supposed to stitch this yet. Gosh, it really looks pretty just blue though. Wouldn't this be nice? Just like all like the one color. Cheryl, this is from the Splendid Sampler 2. It is the Gran's Legacy block on page 93. Okay, I kind of want to do it all blue. I mean, I know this is a bunch of colors. What's nice is these colors relate to the colors on the outside, so I didn't really, I haven't really chosen those colors. And actually, our colors are all like those light creams, so I'm assuming I'll keep it kind of light cream. I kind of want to do this all one color. I love that look, like of red work or black work. There's white work and like blue work. Those are like the common ones that I've heard of. Blue is very common. Lisa says do the blue. I think let's do a one color look. I think that is always so classic looking and so pretty. Kind of into it. Let's do it. All right, I'm going to leave this near me so I can always reference to it. And, oh yeah, I think sometimes the title doesn't always come up depending on how people are viewing it. Okay, so this is kind of, we could do it this bright, pretty blue. I know this is pretty bright for our quilt. Let's look at this pale blue too. Oh, Gretchen says, funny, my china is white and blue and I love it. That's kind of why I thought it'd be extra pretty too, because of that blue. Yeah, like blue Delftware. Exactly, Colleen. So that would be more of this blue. Yeah, I think let's do the classic blue. Oh, and it's just going to be 2 strands, so that won't be too much. I think, yeah, I'm going to stick with just the one blue, I think. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Well, first of all, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, right? Let's chop some of this fabric off. I'm going to just completely roughly do this to where I think it'll fit nice in the hoop. I know it's going to be cut down quite a bit smaller, like to 6 inches or so. So I'm not going to worry about, making a pretty edge. Yeah, I'm literally going to just kind of take the scissors and cut around. Just some white fabric. It's okay if I use it up. Oh, if any of you came late tonight, I'll show it again later, but I shared my mom's completely finished granny square quilt. Oh yeah, I'll be able to square it up. It's gonna be like so, but that's a good point, Marie. I think we're really this is tight in the block. I'm pretty sure. I'm not worried. This is plenty of fabric for this project. Got my little hoop here, and a 6-inch hoop would have worked really well for this, but I just got this 8-inch hoop, so we're using that. Oh, so I'll show the granny square quilt at the end here, as well, because it just turned out so nice. I think she just got it back, I don't know, a little over a week ago or something. Marie, I will definitely show it at the end. Oh, yep, I'll have to show it tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow shows the quilt you sleep under at Mom's. Oh, so we're staying. So we have a full house here. This time we're missing just like one family member, and but we got both my brothers are here, and we got everyone just about. So John and I are sleeping over in the shed in my parents' trailer. So we are there, and I don't know if there's a quilt on there. I think there was. I think my mom had the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt there for a while. I'm just doubling this thread up because I'm going to do that loop method. So usually I get about like 18 inches, but I'm actually doubling it up because I will be folding this in a sec here. Oh, look, I brought this guy. I brought my little scissors. They were both in my Craft a Happy Life, the bin. But yeah, so the Splendid Sampler 2 used to be on there, but now I think there's just like a light blanket because it's a zillion degrees here. It is, they were pushing or in that 100 range like we were in Minneapolis the past few days, and it's been good high 90s, and it's just been hot and muggy. It's just been a lot. So no big quilts right now, but I think it was the Splendid Sampler 2 was the one that was in the trailer there. All right, so oops, that's a different method. I've got to grab both ends here. So this side has the fold, right? And then this side has the two ends. Let me know if any of you have downloaded our that new raccoon pattern. We'll have to schedule a good time to stitch that up because I definitely want to stitch that with you guys. You should be getting the emails now for that pattern as well to go through each stitch. So it's a sampler, so there's 14 different stitches on there. And we do a lot of those stitches, but now you can have them like all in once and they go in one design, which is kind of fun. How should we go about stitching this? So it's all one color. Oh, Gretchen has it. Yay, good. We're gonna do it all in this blue, which I think is gonna be so beautiful. All right. I'm tempted to just do it in the same way that I traced it, like start with these big swoopies. I don't know. Go from there. Do the type next. What we could do is like the outline of everything and then come back in and do the details. Oh, Sally says I like the emails showing the different stitches. Okay, good. So I've been wanting to do that idea for a while. So it's just like a mini class on how to do each of the stitches. So for 2 weeks you'll get emails. So you get a stitch a day. All right, so I think I am going to do that. Let's start at the top here. This is by just getting this like little swoop done. I think it'll feel like I've done a lot. That's kind of covering a lot of surface area versus like, you know, this little letter T and whatever. That's going to be a lot of work, but not feel like I've done a ton. So, all right, so I'm pulling it through, but I'm leaving the loop here. So we still got the loop there. I'm not pulling it all the way through. I'm gonna make my first stitch. So this is all gonna be back stitched. And then down in here, we got some decorative stitches, the single chain stitches, the French knots, oh, and then the dashed lines. Oh, so Marie, I love using embroidery stands. So yeah, cross stitch is great for that too. So I just caught the loop there. I put my needle right through that loop and now I'm just gonna pull tight. And that is the loop method. We are just ready to stitch now. That's gonna be good to go there. No knots, no loose strands, no anything. To stitch the raccoon, I did use a stand just so that I could be nice and still for the videos. I like kind of going without a stand here. Every once in a while, maybe I'll start using a stand for the embroidery because it is nice to like not have to have this hand being used as a stand. I could have this hand all the way back here and then go like front to back. It is fast. It's a little faster to stitch and you can kind of stay in an upright position, which is kind of nice. Here I just kind of go wherever it feels good for my left hand to hold the hoop. But not everyone has a stand or can stitch with a stand, so I like showing it without a stand during our lives. Because, you know, you don't have to keep it straight on. You can move around like I'm doing. It's totally fine. You know, maybe I should use this as an opportunity to practice my sewing method. So right now I'm doing the stabbing method where I go straight down, pull the thread all the way through, then come straight up. I like doing it this way because I feel like it's really accurate. Yet like you can go straight up and down and really find the good spot. So this is the stabbing method of embroidery. The sewing method is where you go in and out in one motion. So I'm gonna go in and out in one motion. So both parts of the stitch, just doing it all at once and pulling through. It's actually super fast. I'm just not as adept at it. And I didn't, it's a newer like feel for me. I didn't grow up doing it this way. So I've been wanting to kind of practice, especially with like the back stitch. I feel like I'm not as accurate as the stabbing method because I'm coming in from the side like this. I'm not going straight up and down, but maybe we'll give this a little practice. We'll get done with this a whole lot sooner, I think, then. For the sewing method, sometimes it's easier to have the fabric a little more loose in the hoop, so I'm just going to do that as well. Actually, when you use the sewing method, you don't even need a hoop oftentimes, but we're going to keep it in the hoop. So again, I'm just holding, I mean, now I have to hold it a little special too for doing the sewing method. Oh, maybe not. I'm kind of just going away to me now. I usually like going right to left, but let's just get a lot of practice in on this. That's why I like these little opportunities, like little project like this, just to try to practice different things. Oh, Colleen says she likes these hoops for these small ones. You can keep turning and stuff. All right, I'm just gonna kind of keep stitching away from me. This is working pretty well. Definitely having it more loose, the fabric more loose in the hoop is helpful. Oops, that was a little smaller stitch, but that's okay. Oh, see, now like right here, I didn't go quite in the same spot right there, but I'm gonna leave it. Sometimes it's nice to leave those little human errors. Just the whole piece looks a little bit more hand done, and that's how we want it to look. So I don't typically do the sewing method, like the in and out in the same motion for the back stitch, like what I'm doing here, but I always use it for the stem stitch, and I use it often enough for the chain stitch. So there's some stitches that just cater to this method really well. I actually was really frustrated with the stem stitch for years and years. Like I didn't know why it was so difficult for me. But once I figured out, oh, use this sewing method, then it was way easier. Oh, Shirley says, I learned how to use the sewing method. It's easier for you too. Yeah, so I show how to do the sewing method for the stem stitch in that raccoon sampler. So that 14 days of embroidery stitches, when you get to the stem stitch, I definitely use the sewing method. All right, we'll put a little stab method here. And now what? Let's see, where do we go next? So I don't like jumping around. I like just kind of going where the thread can get used up. So I think maybe I'll just go, maybe I'll, I think I'm gonna start going around this little outside thing here. Oh, Marie, thanks. Marie says my stitching's looking very nice with the back stitch with the sewing method. And I think it's like, for me, it's looking a little less precise than when I do the stabbing method, but it probably took half the amount of time. And I'm gonna practice on this whole piece. So we will, the goal is I'm gonna get better at this sewing method. I've been waiting kind of in the back of my head, waiting for an opportunity to practice it a little bit. And this just seems like the place to do it. So let's go around this outer edge. I'm actually almost out of this floss already. We'll be cooking through this floss if we stitch it super fast with the sewing method. I'm excited for next week when we can stitch that hummingbird. It's definitely, I think, like a vintagey look. Let me see if I can grab that. Yep, I hand delivered Mom's order. So here's the hummingbird. So this is some of our new packaging here. The top slips out and the instructions are on the back of it. So you can actually kind of keep the cover as a little poster when you're done with the box. I think it's just kind of fun. So this will be stitching next week. Oh, Colleen says I got the hummingbird today. Awesome. We'll be sending out a whole pile more of your embroidery kits tomorrow. So Jenna will be, she's in Minneapolis. She's going to be sending them out this week. And yeah, I'm super stoked to stitch this one. Really pretty and classic, I think. Oh, have a lovely dinner, Sylvia. See you later. Oh, that's true. Like once I wash this blue out, the blue marker, this blue will look a little bit better. Maybe I'll do that. I haven't done that at all yet for any of my pieces, but that might be kind of fun to do for this one. Assuming we get it done in the next few days, I could take it out and then we could press it and dry it right away. That might be good to do anyway before we stitch or sew the other pieces on. All right, now here, I kind of want this steam line that I did first, I want that to look behind, or like it's in front of the back of this cup here. So we have the back ridge of the cup. I don't want the steam to look like it's behind that. So like if I did a stitch on there, the steam would look like it's behind that stitch. So this is super picky, but it's something I like to pay attention to. Like what's the furthest most back compared to what's further up. So, we got this front line of the cup right here. So the steam would be behind that front line because it's coming out of, the T here. And then it would be in front, the steam would be in front of this back line. So I'm actually going to kind of tuck my needle under this stitch to make it seem like this stitch is going behind. I mean, it's not so obvious because I'm using the same color, but if I was to use different colors for this, then I would for sure want that steam to feel like it's in front of that back line. So something to think about as you're stitching, just the order of things you go in. So now I'm going to actually draw my line. I'm going to cut right through all these shapes because I will make these shapes on top of the line later. All right, and I'm almost out of floss here already. Geez, that didn't go very far either. I mean, backstitch does take up a bit of floss, so that's okay. Few more stitches, and actually, maybe not so much a few. Yeah, we can maybe get 2 more. Oh, Gretchen, that's great. Gretchen says, wouldn't this be a great design for the pottery folks on the Great Pottery Show? Ugh, we were just talking about that tonight. On how good the baking show is and how, at least that last season of the Great Pottery Throwdown, how it has that same kind of relaxed, lovely, friendly feel as the baking show. All right, this is my last one. I'm going to weave in the end. Oh, this is Sylvia. Nice. Everyone's watching TV for dinner, so she can watch this too. Nice. So to end, I'm still weaving in the end, so I'm not tying a knot. I don't think there's a fancy loop method to finish the end, at least not that I know of. So I'm still weaving in back and forth 3 times. That 3rd time is kind of what locks it in. There we go. And get my needle minder, Marie, who's here tonight. She made this needle minder. I love it. Okay, snip. It's crazy how much this blue marker kind of bleeds through the back. I mean, I could stitch this from the back if I wanted to, couldn't I? All right, it's looking cute. I am keeping that fabric loose so I can do that sewing method. One thing you gotta be sure of, though, if you have your fabric looser in the hoop, to not pull your stitches super tight because you don't want it to bunch up or anything. So I'm paying attention to that. All right, let's get our next thread. All right. Need that sound effect. Oh my gosh, you guys. My brothers and mom and dad got up this morning and went and picked strawberries. So there's some strawberry farms over here. It's like literally, the first couple of weeks of June, like early June, that's the time for strawberries. So they were gonna go see if there was any available to just buy, but they get bought so quickly, like they're always just sold out or they're pre-sold or something. But they got there early enough that they were able to pick some. So they came home with like 3, I think, trays, like big trays full of the freshest, most red, most ripe and beautiful and like sun-kissed strawberries that a brain could imagine. Like you can't even know like how gorgeous these just taste and look and smell. So they spent the morning taking the tops off of them. They freeze a good portion of them. But I think there might be some pie involved at some point, and we've just been eating them just straight up there, just so amazingly delicious. So that has been a perk of today, that's for sure. Fresh strawberries, so delicious. And then peach season is next, I think, or that comes up soon. We don't grow peaches, although my parents had a peach tree, and every once in a while it would have tons of peaches. Oh God, I love peaches too. Strawberry and peaches, just give me all those. Throw in some blueberries for good measure. I wouldn't need any other fruit. Those three would do the job. Yum. Holy cow. So this is just quite the day. It's just fun to be with family, but my brother Jared and his girlfriend, they made this pie today. I don't even know if you can call it pie, but it's root beer float baked Alaska. So imagine all that together as a pie. So they took this ice cream and, or first they took root beer. And no, actually, first they made a cookie crust, right? So make a beautiful, crumbly cookie crust. Imagine that. I'm going to paint you a picture of this pie, okay? And just it's salty and sweet, right? This crust. And then they reduced root beer, and we have A&W root beer here that you get right from the A&W, and it's amazing. And we grew up with this certain ice cream and this certain root beer, and the combo of them for root beer floats is the best. So they got some of this ice cream. It's actually custard, so some frozen custard, local frozen custard, and then this A&W root beer. So they reduced the root beer to make like a syrup. And then they softened the ice cream, the custard, frozen custard. And then they swirled it around so it looked like marble, right? Perfect little swirls. And then froze that. And then the next day after that had set for the day. So they froze it in the pie crust, the cookie pie crust. And then the next day, which was today, they made a meringue and poofed it over the giant top of, it was huge, poofed it over this root beer ice cream swirl, vanilla ice cream swirl, and this cookie crust. And then did the like flame torch on it. So it was like all like burnt marshmallows, yum meringues on top. It was good. So that and the strawberries today, and oh God, it was a good food day, that's for sure. But oh man, you guys, it is still so warm. It was warm in Minnesota, but it's warm here in Wisconsin too. And it's just the humidity and stuff too. Oh, Marie says you love A&W root beer floats. So Marie, you're from Wisconsin, right? So you got the A&W. That's good. We're all kind of pitching it a little bit, Gretchen. Oh gosh, and for food, my parents have these mushrooms outside, these wine cap mushrooms, and they just kind of exploded over the past, I don't know, week or so. So we had a zillion of these mushrooms and cleaned them up and made a risotto out of them. Oh man, it was just like pinnacle food day today here, for sure. All right. Gosh, that almost took a full thread going around here. I'm not doing the sewing method just to kind of get positioned right in that last stitch. Ooh, I think I caught on something. Yeah, that felt funny. There we go. Ooh, peach. I love peaches. Okay, so I think we'll do this little back row in here too. So I'm gonna try and go underneath, because this back is kind of like, oh, I think this is like the T line. This is like the liquid filled up to this line. So that's kind of, I think, behind this steam as well. So I'll just do a couple stitches here. Oops, shoot. Flicked the thread out of here. But I'll do a couple just stabbing motion stitches just to get underneath that thread again, so the thread can look like it's towards the back. All right, so I'm tucking it under that stitch so that steam looks like it's in the front. And then there we go. All right, I don't think I'm gonna make it all the way down that line, but we'll do our best. We'll get it like a little over halfway there, maybe. Oh, Colleen says her first job in Vermont was an A&W car hop. Fun! Oh, you grew up with A&W? Oh gosh, there's nothing better than getting like the gallon of root beer from A&W. We would always get the gallon, bring it home, and then there's this ice cream place by us that's just amazing. And so that combined with the A&W root beer, and the best, what I always loved is you'd have to have the ratio of ice cream, like big chunky ice cream to the root beer, just right, because you pour the root beer in and it would kind of freeze, do like a frozen little coat of root beer, like a frozen crust of root beer on the ice cream. And that's the best. I would scrape off that root beer crust and eat that. And the best was when you made it to the end and you ran out of ice cream and root beer at the same time. That's the goal for a root beer float. And for this pie that they made, the root beer swirl was just like that, like it had just frozen to the ice cream. Yum. I like just ate and I'm full, but like I want all of this food still. All right, I can stop talking about food. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna quite make it all the way over here, which is a little bit of a bummer. I like kind of mapping out my path, and now I don't know quite how I'm gonna do it. I think this is gonna be my last stitch. We'll just have this little bit to do yet. Yes, there's rules to a root beer float. Oh, you grew up in Missouri because you say root beer. Why do you say like root beer? Like root beer? That's the only other way I could think of saying it. Root beer? I don't know. I could just be saying things silly too. All right, I'm gonna weave in the end here. Oh, creamsicle floats. Yep. That's a A&W root beer thing for sure. Oh, long O's. Yeah, so they reduced the root beer, or root beer. I guess I say root. They reduced the root beer so they could swirl it, because they wanted to swirl it within the ice cream. So they kind of made, they just needed to thicken it, I guess, to do this kind of swirl. So they didn't make like just soup. So yeah, just reduced it in a pan, basically, I think. Oh, I think they might have put vanilla in it too. So like a vanilla bean in root beer, maybe? I think I remember them saying that there was vanilla in there, but I could be wrong. Okay, we're getting there. Let's see. I think we can start another thread. I'm not sure we'll finish another thread tonight, but hey, we're moving right along. I think this type, I think that might, oh, make it sound like syrup. So like, root beer. Syrup. Or so syrup and syrup, root beer. That's how I say it, root beer. Yep, so they just cooked it in a pan, the reducing the root beer, yep. That's what they were doing when we drove in last night, and we're like, what the heck are you cooking here? Okay. Last bit, I'm still loving this loop method. Oh, see, I don't know if I want to know that. So A&W, they just send you the syrup. Oh, interesting. So they just send you the syrup, and then you'd add like fizz to it. You just add water and fizz. Well, I mean, I'm pretending it's magically made there as like some magic little root beer fairy, but like, I mean, that obviously makes sense that you'd get the syrup and fill it up, but I don't know. It's special when you get it by the gallon from the A&W, I think. All right, let's see. I want to kind of map out my path here. I want to just kind of finish this stitch just to have done it. Oh gosh, I'm going to just get myself in a weird little spot, I think. Why don't I try and do these little loops? I kind of don't have a great way to like map them out. I like what I mean by mapping it out. I mean, what is the least amount of movement I can do to get from one spot to another? So that's why I came down here and then I immediately started the loop, because that's where my piece ended. I love when you can just start the next little area because you happen to be right there and you mapped it out so you would end up right there. So I'm not going to have that, I think, by doing these little loops. So I'm going to start doing this loop, and then I'll just kind of go weave in the backs of these stitches, come back down, kind of weave in the back here, and then come back up. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, I'm going to start this, but one thing I didn't do. So if you read the instructions for this piece, they put a lightweight fusible interface on the back of this before starting. So I did not have any fusible, and I kind of just like going right through the fabric like this. What the fusible will do, it's like a fusible fabric. What that will do is, first of all, put another layer of fabric here. It'll make it a little stiffer to work with. But what it'll also help with is not being able to see your stitches. So like if I went like from here to here, you can see that stitch. I mean, you can see that blue from behind, right? So if you first put the fusible on the back and you jumped from, wherever I am over here to here, you would be less likely to see your stitches through. So that is a big benefit to putting a fusible web on the back. I should just try that for a while sometime. It's just not something I think about really. What I try and do is, that's why what brought it up is because I like traveling behind the backs of the stitches. So instead of jumping from here to here, where I cross over this big white spot, so like I would see this on the back, I'm gonna weave in the backs of stitches that already exist and then start the next thing. So I'm trying to reduce how much of the back stitches you'll see on the front by just kind of going behind stitches that are already there. So I'm kind of trying to pay attention to that. Whereas if you did use that fusible web on the back, you might get away with being able to jump around and not see all those stitches. So I feel like I have to kind of move a lot for this sewing method. I mean, we're going around this tight little curly Q. Maybe I shouldn't move as much. Let's just try and do the sewing method where I stay in one spot. Although I think that might be weird for me too. I'm gonna do the stabbing method to get these little tight areas. Little squiggle. Actually, I think that's probably about all it goes. I'm still looking at that. I wanted to see, okay, does this loop go above the line or below? Like, was my drawing just a little bit off? This one just goes a little bit below. So I think we're fine there. I don't think it really matters. All right, so now I'm gonna start here, but I'm gonna zip through the back. Instead of just jumping like down to here, I'm gonna go up here where I can cross over the back of some of these stitches. Just gonna weave it in. And we'll start this little loop, and I think I'll use the stabbing method for this too, just to get them started. Get these little loopies done tonight. But yeah, so tomorrow we can just start right up with the embroidery. We don't have to set anything up, like we've got our paper or our fabric cut and everything already. We're traced. Oh, that's what took forever. I'm like, man, I thought we could get a little bit more embroidery done tonight, but we drew all this on tonight too. That took a ton of time. So I'm expecting tomorrow to get a ton done. Gosh, maybe we should just do the type tomorrow. I mean, that'll probably take the whole time, but that'll be a big thing done. Oh, that type has a lot of surface area to cover. I'd like this a little looser in here. Oh, like root beer. Root beer. Okay, so last little bit here. Yeah, I think so, Marie, too. That's going to be a sweet pattern, and these little details are going to be just awfully cute. There's a lot going on in such a small area. It's going to be nice. All right, I'm going to just kind of zip over to this next little steam nugget and get that done. Oh, Robin says, yes, that's how I say it. Root, like root, or like boot, sorry. Root beer float. I haven't had a root beer float for ages, so this cake was just like it, so that's good. Yep, so fusible would definitely make the back stiffer. I'm not sure that would be helpful though for this sewing method. Like I on purpose like that it's loose, kind of how we worked on that swan hand quilting last week or on Friday for Finish It Friday. That was helpful to have it a little looser in the hoop, and for the same reason, like it's easier to go down and come back up, aim like more up instead of just coming in sideways with a tight hoop. I mean, this I can go a little further upward. I think it's helping me be a little bit more accurate. All right, so actually I'm really close to down here. That last stitch ended up really close there. So you know what? I am gonna finish this row here now. So we did end up at a good spot. Oops, let's do the sewing method here. We did end up on a good spot to finish that. Good. Ooh, and I'm gonna do the stabbing method just because I'm going to be close to these stitches here. Okay, I have a little more thread left. We could probably finish this thread yet tonight. So I think I'm going to just come over here and see how far up on this little steamy jobby we can get. Yeah, I'm not quite sure we're gonna make it all the way there with this one piece of floss, but I'm telling you, I think this sewing method is really upping the pace of how quickly we're stitching here tonight. Yeah, maybe we'll deal with all this text. So for the type, all this type, I'm not sure I'll use the sewing method though for it, because there's a lot of detail and a lot of those little loop-de-loops, and I don't know, I was doing a better job at those loop-de-loops with the stabbing method. Well, there's plenty of type. We can try both ways. But this is fast. This is, especially on these straightaways, the sewing method is quite a bit faster. Oh, I have to show you Mom's granny square quilt again when I'm done here. So I got about maybe 8 more stitches worth of this floss. And then I'll flip you guys back around and I'll show you my mom's granny square, completely 100% done granny square quilt. Turned out so beautiful. All right, I'm gonna literally run out with like 4 more stitches that I have to do. That's always annoying, but whatever. I don't think we're winning thread chicken, but I am close to all this type, so we can get it when I get some of this type tomorrow. It's kind of a funny shape that we're making. It almost looks like some wacky canoe, like a Viking ship or something. Just the little bit we have stitched. Oh yeah, this is it. I'm out of thread. Weave this in and we'll call this done for the day. But yeah, I do want to show you that quilt. Ooh, can I turn? Just barely. Get some of those threads really close to the edge of the hoop too, which makes weaving it in a little difficult. All right, just threw it on needle minder here. Okay, so there we are. I think I'll just leave it in the hoop. A lot of times I like taking it out, but we'll be trimming this too when we're done, so I'm not too concerned about it being loose in the hoop like this. So, all right, I'm gonna flip you around. Let's take a look at my mom's quilt again here. Okay, I'm coming. Here we are. All right, so let's take a look at it. There's a little preview. Oh, I have there's the hummingbird kit. Those should be in the mail, so you guys will be receiving these real soon if you haven't gotten them yet. This will be next week's stitching. And all right, let's look. It's so pretty. So it's just nice and drapey. Love it. So it's already washed. So it's nice and washed. It is just like a simple meander. It just turned out so nice. All right, you guys. So, oh, your most very, very favorite. I love this quilt so much. I just really, really, really want ours to be done. We are so close. I know I'm putzing around on the back of it, but we're gonna get there. We have a lot of quilting to do. I mean, there's that whole part of the process. But isn't it looking nice? I love just the meander look to it. It's just gonna be lovely to use somewhere. But awesome. So I'll leave that here this week so you guys can, if you missed it, if anyone missed it tonight, then I'll show it tomorrow. Or if you want to see more of it in detail, let me know. And that will be the deal. So thank you guys again for joining me. Just a reminder, I will only be on YouTube this week, tomorrow and Wednesday, and then also on Friday, so not on Thursday. So I won't be on Facebook. So if you've been hanging out on Facebook wondering where I am tonight, it'll just be on YouTube for the next few evenings while I'm at my parents'. So have a lovely evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.